This is bullshit. Just cut me off midstream, right in the middle of my carburetor rebuild. This is freaking getting out of hand, YouTube. And I was just showing, I was about to put the damn throttle cable back in place when YouTube shut my feed off, and now nobody's getting notified that I'm back online. What the fuck, YouTube censorship team? Afraid I might get popular, tell somebody something truthful? What the hell? Alright. So anyway, enough of that ranting and raving. I'm going to go ahead and loosen that screw out to where the cable can slide into there freely. And I'm going to slide the cable into place. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull some tension on the cable while I make sure that the throttle handle is seated at the 0 position so that nothing is hitting the fuel. Like, you don't want it to be applying fuel until you hit the throttle. You know, you don't want that spring, but you want it bottomed out so that it starts in the 0 position. It doesn't take forever to respond when you give it throttle, and you got the full amount of the swing of the throttle, and so you got the full range of motion there. That's important. Next step is to put the choke back on. As you're going to find, the knob has to go into the slot with the notch facing downward, and then you're going to have to finagle the clip in like I showed you earlier from the inside of the cowling, and then attach it to the carburetor. So I'm just going to slide this handle into the slot, and I'll go over to the top here and finagle that little clip in, the linkage rod. Short end goes into the plastic knob and pivots in up into the notch. Now I gotta balance the motor and fit this guy in somehow without losing it. Okay, it's in. Now I gotta lock it back into the slot in the carburetor. And that's done. Let me show you what I just did. First, let me clean my hands off. And apparently got to clean the lens off. There, hopefully that's a little better. So, I don't know if you can see that, but the choke is now working back and forth. And it's basically just the reverse of how I showed you where I took it apart. Okay, fuel line's connected, throttle's connected, choke's connected. Everything's back together. This puppy's ready to fuel up and go. You don't have to check the oil because it doesn't have an oil reservoir. This is a 2-stroke. The oil's mixed into the gasoline. All right, let me flip the camera back around. So, yeah, second half of this video is pretty much just like the tail end, but I'm really ticked off. YouTube just cut me off in the middle of the feed with no explanation. I didn't touch any buttons. And I went and tried to reload it, and it offered me to resume, but I click resume and it cut off. So I didn't know what was going on. Somebody just like booted my chat. So anyway, yeah, everything's back together. Go ahead and put the cowling, the upper cowling, back on. And she's ready to go. By all rights, put it on the back and fuel it up with some good gas and it'll fire up. You probably have to choke it and prime it a bit. Pull it a couple times to get it to start the first time, because it's completely empty of fuel now. Alright, let's put these tools away. Oh boy, here's another weekend warrior out. I hear a party boat. God, why do people go out in nature and blast their stereos loud? I don't think that's even in the boat. I think they're on the highway. They're so freaking loud I can hear them from town. Alrighty. Now, let me tell you about one design flaw that is, these Mercuries and these Hankais have this design flaw that I wish when the Chinese did the knockoff of Mercury they would have thought to fix this, because it wouldn't take much to fix it. Like, all it takes is a little bit of reshaping of the cowling handle, and it's this thing where when you put the front latch on and you pull the cowling down over the gas tank, it snags the gas lid, the gas cap, and that's how I ended up losing the gas cap, because you can't open and close the cowling with the cap on. You have to take the freaking gas cap off the tank to open the freaking cowling, and it's just stupid. Just a stupid design. That, other than that, I love everything about this motor except that one thing. But all in all, it's worth dealing with for all of its other qualities. We go ahead and put that latch in, put the handle through, make sure it's lined up, make sure the front latch is lined up in the spot, and then you got to kind of just jam this thing down and force it around the lid to get it to close. And that's that. It's ready to go back in place. So I'm gonna set it down here and go take a break. Whew. Now my back is really killing me. You young fucks can do that all day. I said folks, not fucks. You young folks can do that all day. But we old guys, man, we bent over something for 5 minutes and we can't stand back up. Oh, so here we go. Set these tools there for now. I need to put all those in a new bin. I need a new toolbox, because that bin that came in is, the latches on it are rusted apart, and I just flop open and drop the tools out when I move it around. Whew. Enough power for my boat. It's a sailboat, bro. It's not supposed to be fast. I don't need a bunch of power. Like I said, the boat sails faster than it motors. That motor is to get me to a safe place when the weather won't cooperate. And I can't sail to a safe location. And there's a storm coming. And the wind's not with me where I need to go. And I need to get into that cove before that storm gets here. I fire that motor up and get in that cove. That's what it's for. Like, it's not to be the main propulsion system. It's actually the main propulsion system on this boat is the sails. Yeah. Well, it moves it around, like when the wind is going that way and I want to go that way, you know, and I don't have time to spend 2 days beating to windward tacking, or the channel's too narrow, or you know, there's a bridge there, I can't sail under the bridge, you know, then that's what that motor's for. Ooh. Ooh, how do I get the boat out of the water? I want to take it out of the water. Why would I want to take it out of the water? Oh man, it's a lot cooler in here. So next episode, I'll take the motor and put it back over here, and then I'm going to go through my gas and make sure there's no water in it. I'll probably put a little gas, decant some gas off into a small jug and fire it up and take it for a spin around the neighborhood. Oh, for a hurricane or something. Yeah, just like any other boat, if there's a hurricane, you take it into a, depends on the storm, but this boat will fit on a 16 by 8. It's 8 by 16, 8 by 15, it's 7.9 feet wide by 15.5 feet long. So it'll fit on a 8 by 16 trailer, which is standard lawn trailer. It'll fit on a lawn trailer, bro. And it wouldn't take but a few 2x4s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2x4s and a winch to pull it up on there. Like, it's not so heavy that a small winch couldn't pull it up onto a trailer. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, if I get the twin jet drives installed and put a 10 horse on each, this thing will cruise. It'll haul ass. It'll plane out, and then I would be able to do the Great Loop in less than a year. I would probably get 20 knots out of it, at least 20-25 knots, maybe even get 30 knots. It would definitely plane out. Alamo City Cello. I really wish people would speak in complete sentences when they ask a question. Why what? Why is the sky blue? Why is water wet? Why does boogers run out of your nose when you have the sniffles? Like, what is your question? What is your... what does plane mean? Good question, Max. There's lots of different types of hulls, but there's two basic types of hulls. Hull, not hull. A hull, a boat hull, H-U-L-L, is... It can generally be classified as one or two types of hulls. There's a type that planes out, and there's a type that's a displacement hull. Okay, a displacement means your hull is pushing through the water, and say the water line's right here. Every cubic inch of water, of hull, below the water line is pushing water out of its way, which means it's displacing water. Okay, that's what it means by displacement. The displacement hull is a hull that's pushing through the water, displacing the water as it pushes through. And it forces all that water out of the way. Okay, and that makes a big wave. And it takes a lot of energy to push that much mass through that much water and displace that much water. Okay, a planing hull, what it does is it starts out below the water line like so, and when you start pushing faster, it goes up on top of the water, and it skims the top and kind of skis on the top, and it glides on the water like an airplane glides on air. And it has a lot of, and that's why they call it flying a boat or piloting a boat, not driving a boat, because on a planing hull, the boat comes out of the water and just skims the top, and it's no longer displacing all that water, and so it's kind of skiing. It's like a skiing hull. And this sailboats are usually not, they're not usually the kind of, they're usually displacement hulls. They're usually full displacement. But there are some new sailboats that sail on a hydrofoil where the whole entire boat comes out of the water and just the foil is in the water, which is just like a delta shaped airplane wing, and it lifts the whole boat on that wing, and they can go a lot faster, way less resistance, okay, but also less control and more dangerous, more likely to capsize because the boat is out of the water like it's gliding on a pole, you know. Like, you better know what you're doing to play that kind of game. Those are the pros that have been doing it for decades and know, you know. Oh, you missed the coffee. Milk and coffee, that's disgusting. Less friction, less drag, more speed. Yep, that's how it works. So planing is when you get a boat to push up out of the water and ski on the top. Okay, when you're sitting down in the water, say you got a V-hole and this is the front of the boat, and when you punch the gas, the first thing that's going to happen is the motor's going to push down and the bow is going to come up, and it's going to hit the water at like a 45-degree angle like this. And when you're doing that, that's going to take the most power out of your engine. It's going to you're going to have the most resistance, the hardest thrust with the least amount of speed. But what happens is, as soon as the boat comes up on the water and then levels out, it's called planing out. It's called jumping out of the pocket. They call it a pocket shot because you're coming out of the pocket and on top. And as soon as you come out of the pocket of water and you get on top of the water, and then when your bow levels off, your boat just takes off. It's like, and it's just barely moving, and then it gets level and on top, and it just boom, and then you hear the engine go lower, like less strain on the motor and more speed. Yes, when you're pushing with all that thrust against the hull like that, and you're displacing full amounts of water, you're throwing a much bigger wave, you're burning more gas, you're pushing more energy into it, and you're going slower. And yes, it's putting more strain on the bolt hull itself. But when you get up on top, now there's less strain on everything until you start bouncing. Now when you start bouncing, that's doing more damage to the hull and the seams, because you're going fast and you're bam, 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 bam on those waves. Yeah, message redacted. They have the fuel tank in the bow, the anchor in the bow. I sometimes put jugs of water in the bow to get my bow to come down. But in a power boat with a tilt trim with a hydraulic trim on it, usually there's a little knob right next to the throttle, on the throttle button itself, right at the thumb, that says trim. And when you push that up, the motor trims up, which brings the bow up. And then when you trim down, so say you're cruising along and suddenly there's a big, huge wave coming at your boat. You tilt the trim up about a third of the way, and the nose will come up like that, and it'll go over the wave. Whereas if you're going straight into it and that wave's coming, the wave crashes over the boat and sinks it. Okay? So this wave's coming, you tilt your trim up, the bow goes over it, and then you tilt it back down and continue. Well, they do have boats with 4 motors, but they're all in the back. They have boats with 6 motors in the back, 8 motors. I've seen boats with 8 outboard motors. Each one has 350 horsepower. Do the math. You're talking over 3,000 horsepower hanging off the back of a boat, all in outboards, and they're all synced together. So, and actually they can have like 2 of them out of the water and 4 of them running, or, you know, they can sync them all to run and steer together or separately. You know, it's really amazing systems. The redundancy, if one of your motors goes, you still got 5 more. You know, you just keep going. Yeah. Well, pretty much, Chad, most of the yacht companies now are going to outboards because they're just, it's just better, safer, superior. And, you know, it used to be this thing where people were worried about their outboards being stolen, but now the outboards all have like a tracking chip built into the engine itself that can't be removed. Like, you have to take the engine block apart to get the tracking chip out, and they can be tracked even when they're not connected. Like, you cut one off the boat and they'll find you. And it's worth hunting you down because it's a $10,000 motor. Yeah, they're just safer. You get better thrust from the back. You get better steerage from the back. You don't have all that. The chance of you think about an inboard motor. You crank the engine without running the blower, and your whole boat blows up, kills you and your family, all your guests, just because you just forgot to turn the blower on and run it. Okay, all that is negated when you have outboards. There's no problem, no need for running the blower before every start. There's no worry about fuel buildup under the hull that's going to blow up when an alternator kicks off. You know, so you got better control over the tilt and the trim. You got more redundancy if a motor goes bad. You know, there's so much more advantage to the outboards that it's just gotten to the point where inboards and IOs are obsolete. Nobody would be dumb enough to make an IO anymore. Like, if they do, it's got to have a specialized something different with the drivetrain where there's not a big rubber boot keeping the water out of the boat. There's too many of those sank, you know. So they've just rearranged. They've learned a lot from the last 20, 30 years of boating. These manufacturers are starting to get smart. But I still like to go old school. Some things like these I like carburetors better than fuel injection because I can fix it with basic tools. I don't need a injector actuator system to fix the fuel problem. Okay, which is no big deal. Like, when I did that one injector on the 15 horse, and you saw I just brought my own battery and made my own injector actuator, you know, with some wire and some wire clip. But it's kind of dangerous because that thing don't really fit in there, and you accidentally touch the wrong one, and there goes and it fries everything. And that's an expensive mistake. Mastercraft. Yeah, those are good. They make good boats, man. Mastercraft. Yeah. Yeah, even the big yachts now are going to outboards. There's some big yachts with like fucking 8 outboards on the back instead of 2 inboards. You know, like 2 twin 350 diesels. They'll put 8 outboards on it, and each one 350. You know, or 6. I see ones with 6 a lot. The Midnight Express down there at Hollover. It's like a big gray and orange speedboat with 6 350s on the back. It's fucking sick. I smell like bad gas. I'm waiting for all this bad gas smell to evaporate a little bit so I can light a cigarette without worrying about catching myself on fire. Sea Ray. Yamaha? What are you talking about? Yamaha makes boats? I knew they made engines, outboards, but I had no idea they made hull. Aren't they like? Aren't Yamahas a lot like the old Sea-Doos? I freaking hate Sea-Doo. That's one of those companies that just, they're so crooked and greedy. So freaking greedy. Uh, yeah, I hope you feel better, Maxwell. You gotta get off the sauce, man. But enjoy the day at the beach, or try to. Okay, yeah, I probably, you know what? I have seen them. Yeah, I have seen them. I remember now. The freaking boats with the Yamaha symbol, and they were pretty much on the same level with, was it, fucking, they were like a knockoff of another, yeah, they were, God, now I can't even think of the name of the other company. The company I worked for, I'd walk by Yamaha yachts and they looked like they were just stolen from this other company. And also Sea Ray. Well, Sea Ray had their own original look in the beginning, but now they're all starting to look the same. It's like all the boats out there are copying Sea Ray, because the damn Sea Ray is actually a good design. The shape, the whole shape is good. Oh, yikes. I hate that. I start coughing so bad I puke, I know it's time to quit smoking for a while. Clean my lungs out. And I can't explain how I clean my lungs out because it's too dangerous to explain to people. They don't do it right. They misunderstand me. They die. And then I'm to blame. So I don't explain that one to people. Which is really sad, because, you know, that's one that gets people a lot. And it's like, you die if you don't do it, but then then it's not my fault. You know, it's really sad. Oh no, I know, Chad. Believe me, I know. I was there. I worked the boat shows. I would go. I'll give you an example. Bentley actually makes pretty good yachts. I can't complain. Princess yachts, Carver and Princess yachts are just knockoffs of each other. But man, I got on these $250 million yacht, brand new, straight off the showroom floor, and go to the back deck, and the LED lights are not, like 3 out of 10 work. And it's because they just use the cheapest LEDs possible. The dude just spent $250 million for this yacht, and you couldn't give him some quality LEDs. Like, that's how fucking cheap they are. They're just like scrimping and scraping on every little freaking detail to where they can save a dime here or there. Mullein is an herb that you can dry and smoke that helps break up phlegm in your lungs. It's a powerful expectorant. Be careful, because when the chunks start coming out of your lungs, you can choke on them. So you might need to get like some Vicks Vapo Rub or Vicks Inhaler to open your passages and help. I know more powerful herbs that do that, but they're so dangerous that I can't recommend them to you with good conscience. But but don't smoke. Okay, don't smoke too much of the mullein, because what you have too many big chunks coming up all at once. So you're gonna smoke like one joint of it in the morning every day for like one in the morning and one in the evening, then one in the next day, and that's it for like a day or two, then one more the next day, and then just go to one each morning until it's all cleared up. But don't do more than that, because you'll have massive chunks coming up and you'll choke on them because there's such big chunks of phlegm. And I cannot tell you what to use as a bronchodilator, because bronchodilators kill. When used properly, they're very powerful, but when used improperly, you can kill yourself by asphyxiation. So I can't in good faith tell that to anyone. And the only reason that'll help, um that does the same thing. It's also not good for you. Albuterol has the same effect as the herb I use, and it has the same side effects, the negative side effects. So you're already working with that, and you have a prescription you can renew so you don't run out. The key is, don't make sure you have some available and you're not going to run out during that lung treatment, because you can have big chunks coming out that you need some to open up to let them out so that you can breathe. All right, Chad. And thanks for the tip, Chad. I really wanted to say it, but I didn't. Also, comfrey and coltsfoot. What did he said coltsfoot, or did you say mullein? Mullein. Okay, mullein, comfrey, and coltsfoot. All three have the same expectorant effect of breaking up the phlegm in your lungs. So you can combine those three. Believe it or not, when you smoke it, it has a really light feeling. Like, you don't feel heavy feeling like smoke that hurts your lungs. And when it goes into your lungs, it feels like more like effervescent and soothing, rather than aching, making you want to cough. It's really weird how you can actually feel the difference of the effect between that or a cigarette or most other things you smoke. Give you this feel of smoke. Like, you want to choke, you want to cough. But yeah, it's a very smooth, very soothing feeling. It's more like an effervescent, soothing feeling rather than a cough feeling when you smoke it. And yeah, it's easy to find growing wild. Mullein, comfrey, or coltsfoot, or any combination of the three work great for an expectorant. But like I said, I will not recommend the herbs that bronchodilate. I'll tell you, you're gonna need one. If you do a lot of that expectorant, you're going to need a bronchodilator to get it out. And if you don't know how to use those properly, you can asphyxiate yourself. The big danger is, say you're smoking this herb that opens your lung passages, right? And you're doing that for a week, and then you run out. Your lung passages collapse and you don't have anything to open them, and you suffocate. It's like being suffocated chemically. Okay? And albuterol sulfate's the same way. If you use it all the time to breathe, and then you suddenly don't have any, you can't breathe, because your lungs they're not able to open without it. They collapse. Bronchodilators are a dangerous thing. That's really literally the only reason you need a prescription to use them, because there's no narcotic effect. The only danger is in you asphyxiating yourself. I mean, no, that's not the only danger. There's also like it races your heart. There's other side effects, but they're not the most pronounced side effects. Um, no, JMAD, no. This is not a freaking gay hookup site. Go look for your gay prostitute on the street. Oh, I unhit him because you had hit him. Oops. Let me try that again. Dorcas, you got me. You got it before me, and then when I clicked on it, it undid it. Okay. So, engine's ready to go. I got plenty of fuel, and the jugs are sealed. The engine isn't sealed very good, so leaving gas in the engine that long was a mistake. But if I had just ran that gas out, that motor would still be just fire right up, you know. But the gas jugs over here that are sealed good, they should still be pure gas. And I just have to check to make sure it's mixed with oil. But yeah, tomorrow I'll give the motor a crank. I'll put it back on the transom later this evening. And tomorrow, it probably wouldn't hurt to pull up anchor and take this boat for a spin. Give it a little test run. Weather permitting, of course. I wouldn't mind actually going scouting out the upper river. I haven't been that far up the river. Wait, yeah, I did. I went all the way up to the canoe trails. Pretty much, yeah. Anyway, it might be cool to sail or to motor upwind and then sail downwind and see what I can film without the motor, to where it's just quiet. Just be really quiet, don't talk, and just coast downwind, or sail upwind and then, or motor upwind, sail downwind for fishing. Trolling and fishing is okay. Like sailing, I pretty much cruise at the right speed for trolling, but I don't have the right gear for trolling. I need to get some small planers for that, some small low speed planers, and I need to go through those fishing rods for that. So yeah, I think it may, I'm just take a little motor cruise around. And yeah, I'm not ready to sail it yet either, because I got a lot more rigging to put on the mast before that's ready. As you guys know, I'm redoing the rigging. I could put the sloop rig back up, but it doesn't sail very fun. It's not fun that way. It's kind of, I'm bored of that. I want to just leave it down so I can, also we got thunderstorms in the afternoon now. This time of year I got rain clouds building up here. There's a cumulofractonimbus building over here, and I don't like having a big highly conductive aluminum mast sticking up taller than everything else around when I'm in a storm. But Maxwell, it's gonna be difficult to get video of my boat sailing, because when I'm sailing, you don't see the boat, you see me, or you see what I'm looking at out away from the boat. But like, I need someone sailing with me alongside to take video of me sailing by, or get somebody on land to video me sail back and by and then shoot me the video or whatever. But it's really hard to get a third person view of my boat sailing. Nah, not high. I've been putting it off. I had to rebuild my carburetor. I don't want to rebuild the carburetor while I'm high. But now that you mention it, I'm done with the carburetor rebuild. I wouldn't mind smoking a little weed. Yeah, we didn't have too bad a wind last night. It was really gusty at first, but then once the rain started, it just kind of leveled off. And yeah, I'm about to activate this fog machine. It's funny how many people think I'm smoking weed when they see these cheap cigars. They're like, oh, you're smoking pot. No, not yet. Gunsanji, welcome back. So I got cut off. I have no idea what happened. YouTube just cut my feed, and then I tried to resume it, and it just kept cutting it off. So started it over. No, I just finished rebuilding the carburetor on the. I need to stop this feed and let it upload. That's part of my carburetor rebuild. Hey guys, hang tight. I'm gonna upload this because I want that to stay. I want this to go as part of the engine rebuild series. So let me log out, guys. I'm gonna let this feed upload and then start another feed. So if you guys don't have me on notifications, you want to catch the next feed, I'm gonna go right back online. Go ahead and put me in, and I'll be right back.